Hello and welcome to I'm Learning Turkish. It's me, Anastasia Krajnichenko, your Turkish teacher again. In our last lesson, we learned how to form definite past tense in Turkish. So today, we will understand how to form it with nouns and etc. Adjectives and so on. So in English, it's super easy actually. We are just adding was or were, the past forms of to be verb to form this past tense. In Turkish, it's a bit more complicated. It used to be formed by the verb imek, which was like to be verb in English. It used to be used in this way. Siz doktor idiniz. Ben genç idim. Sen öğrenci idin. Siz doktor idiniz. Ben genç idim. Sen öğrenci idin. You were doctors. I was young. You were a student. So later, this verb turned into a suffix because Turks love short and everything. So now it's looking like our normal past tense suffix. It is attached right to the noun, adjective, and so on. Let's see how it looks like. There are three ways to attach this affix to our noun or adjective. First one is if the last letter of the verb's root is a voiceless consonant. Remember this fıstıkçı şahap thing, right? We are attaching t, to, and after that our personal affix type 2. As an example, ben gençtim, I was young. Sen avukattın, you were an advocate. Biz Türktük, we were Turks. Siz korkunçtunuz, you were scary. What is another two ways to do it? So the first way, if the last letter is a voiced consonant, which means that it is not fıstıkçı şahap type. We will attach d, do, and only after that our personal affix type 2 again. Let's review some examples in this theme. As an example, siz müdürdünüz, you were managers. Onlar doktordu, they were doctors. Ben kızdım, I was a girl. O imamdı, he was an imam. So the strangest thing which differs from our normal past tense is what if the last letter of our verb's root is a vowel. We are attaching ydı, ydu, ydu. And after that, of course, personal affix if needed. As an example, sen hastanedeydin. You were in hospital. Siz kötüydünüz. You were bad. O kuruydu. It was dry. And biz uykuluyduk. We were sleepy. So why is it different from past tense? Why do we add this ye before the d suffix? The reason is our previous verb, the previous form that used to form this past tense with nouns. Our ed, because ed was adding to the word step by step, not immediately by affix. So let's review the stages of adding ed to a noun. Firstly, we had öğrenci ed. After that, we were adding directly öğrenciydi. So we needed this ye because in our auxiliary verb we had e in the beginning. And then suddenly e dropped, but we still had this ye before the d. So it stood there forever. That is the story. I think it is really interesting because now most of the Turks are not thinking about this, but it is still happening. So in past tense, we stress vowels in suffixes of verbs, but we don't stress them in suffixes of nouns. We are stressing the noun. Sometimes our stressed vowels are changing the word's meaning. Let's see how is it happening. As an example, we have the word vardı, and it means there was or someone had. But if we see the word vardı with d stressed, it meant reached. We has güldü. Güldü was a rose. But if we hear güldü, güldü, it will mean he or she smiled. So you see the writings are identical, but the meaning are really different. Let's see another types. Kızdı, kızdı means was a girl, but kızdı, kızdı meant got angry at someone or something. Düzdü, düzdü means was straight. As an example, yol düzdü. The road was straight. Düzdü, düzdü means arranged. And so on, because there are too much examples of this rule. So don't forget to stress the noun, not the suffix, when you are adding past tense to a noun or adjective. So let's see a little story about holiday. Who doesn't like holidays? They are amazing. Here is the story about Mersin. Geçen yaz Mersin'de kamptaydık. Orası çok güzeldi. Ormanlıktaydık. Orman deniz sahilindeydi. Hava çok sıcaktı. Deniz çarşaf gibi dümdüzdü. Orman ise yemyeşildi. Kamptayken çadırda kaldık. 3 kişiydik. Çadırımız da küçüktü. Ancak yine de rahattı. Let's read it again in Turkish way. Geçen yaz Mersin'de kamptaydık. Orası çok güzeldi. Ormanlıktaydık. Orman deniz sahilindeydi. Hava çok sıcaktı. Deniz çarşaf gibi dümdüzdü. Orman ise yemyeşildi. Kamptayken çadırda kaldık. 3 kişiydik. Çadırımız da küçüktü. Ancak yine de rahattı. Sabahları denizde yüzdük. Öğleden sonra ben ormandaydım. Çünkü güneşte yanmak istemedim. Ama 2 arkadaşım bronzlaşmak istedi. Onun için ben ormandayken onlar plajdaydılar. Let's read again. A bit faster. Sabahları denizde yüzdük. Öğleden sonra ben ormandaydım. Çünkü güneşte yanmak istemedim. Ama 2 arkadaşım bronzlaşmak istedi. Onun için ben ormandayken onlar plajdaydılar. So let's translate this part of our holiday story. We were at the camp in Mersin last summer. That was beautiful. We were in the woods. The forest was on the seashore. The weather was very hot. The sea was flat as a sheet. The forest was lush. We stayed in a tent while we were camping. There were 3 of us. Our tent was also small but still comfortable. We swam in the sea in the morning. In the afternoon I was in the forest because I did not want to burn in the sun. But 2 of my friends wanted to get a tan, so I was on the forest. They were in the beach. So let's see what happened After that, gündüz gezdik. Mersin'e yakın birçok antik kent vardı. Orada öğleye doğru çok turist yoktu. Çünkü hava çok sıcaktı. Antik kentlerde kadim mermer binalar, sütunlar, beyaz taşlı sahiller vardı. Orası muhteşemdi. Antik kentler çok sakin, tarihi ise büyüleyiciydi. So now the Turkish speed. Gündüz gezdik. Mersin'e yakın birçok antik kent vardı. Orada öğleye doğru çok turist yoktu çünkü hava çok sıcaktı. Antik kentlerde kadim mermer binalar, sütunlar, beyaz taşlı sahiller vardı. Orası muhteşemdi. Antik kentler çok sakin, tarihi ise büyüleyiciydi. And the last part of our touristic story. Akşamları yine de denize girdik. Kampta başka insanlarla dans ettik. Geceleyin sahilde kaplumbağaları izledik. 2 hafta bir an gibi geçti ve artık dönme zamanıydı. Ama bu tatil unutulmazdı. Bu yıl da Mersin'de kamp yapmak istiyorum. Okay, Turkish speed and we will translate this part. Akşamları yine de denize girdik. Kampta başka insanlarla dans ettik. Geceleyin sahilde kaplumbağaları izledik. 2 hafta bir an gibi geçti ve artık dönme zamanıydı. Ama bu tatil unutulmazdı. Bu yıl da Mersin'de kamp yapmak istiyorum. So, was it a nice story? I think, yeah. Also, I recommend you to visit Mersin. It is in the Mediterranean Sea in Turkey. Let's review. Did you understand everything right? We walked during the day. There are many ancient cities close to Mersin. There weren't many tourists there towards Moon because it was very hot. Ancient cities had ancient marble buildings, pillars and white stone beaches. It was magnificent there. Ancient cities were very calm and their history was fascinating. In the evenings, we again went to the sea, danced with other people in the camp. We watched the turtles on the beach at night. 2 weeks passed like a moment, and it was like time to go back. But this holiday was unforgettable. I would like to camp in Mersin this year as well. So, siz Mersin'de kamp yapmak istiyor musunuz? Ben çok istiyorum. Do you want to camp in Mersin this year? I want it badly. So, let's go to another interesting story. We all know that olmak in Turkish kinda means to be. So, can't we use this olmak instead of this ed verb which turned into a suffix? But it's not serving the same purpose. Olmak in past always means to become, not to be. So, if we say sen doktordun, we will mean you were a doctor. But if we say sen doktor oldun, you became a doctor, not you were a doctor at all. Let's see another interesting thing. We can say hava soğuktu. Hava soğuktu. The weather was cold. And it will be okay for Turks, it's understandable. But if we say hava soğuk oldu, the weather got cold, became cold. Don't forget about it. And for not to forget, we will see a little short story about the cat in a house. So, as you see in the picture, there is a guy who got a cat. Let's listen to his story. Eskiden hayatım çok sakindi, durağandı. Ancak 2 hafta önce evime kedi aldım ve yaşamım bambaşka oldu. Eskiden masa benimdi ama şimdi o kedinin yatağı oldu. Eskiden benim alarmım vardı ama artık kedi benim alarmım oldu. Beni sabah 6'da uyandırıyor. Eskiden evim düzenliydi, dağınık oldu. Çünkü kedi her yeri dağıttı. Eski hayatım güzeldi. Fakat kedimle hayat daha da güzel ve hareketli oldu. Kediyi almadan çok yalnızdım. Şimdi ise kedim arkadaşım oldu. So, do you think that taking a cat to a house is a positive or negative thing that happened to this guy. Let's read it in Turkish again and then translate to understand it really clearly. Eskiden hayatım çok sakindi, durağandı. Ancak 2 hafta önce evime kedi aldım ve yaşamım bambaşka oldu. Eskiden masa benimdi ama şimdi o kedinin yatağı oldu. Eskiden benim alarmım vardı ama artık kedi benim alarmım oldu. Beni sabah 6'da uyandırıyor. Eskiden evim düzenliydi, dağınık oldu. Çünkü kedi her yeri dağıttı. Eski hayatım güzeldi. Fakat kedimle hayat daha da güzel ve hareketli oldu. Kediyi almadan çok yalnızdım. Şimdi ise kedim arkadaşım oldu. So let's translate it and understand clearly. But I think you understood all this story. So now we are just checking. In the past, my life was very calm, stable. However, 2 weeks ago I bought a cat for my home, and my life was completely different. The table used to be mine, but now it's the cat's bed. I used to have an alarm, but now the cat is my alarm. It wakes me up at 6 a.m. My house used to be tidy. It got messy because the cat scattered all over the place. My old life was good, but with my cat, life became even more beautiful and active. I was very lonely without the cat. Now my cat has become my friend. So I wish you all really nice, good cats, or just friends who will make your life way better. It is the first part of our program. Now we will have a short commercial break, and after that we will talk about negativity and questions in past tense. Don't change the channel and wait for us. See you! Welcome back. Was the commercial break short? I guess it was because you were waiting for our program. So now we will review our past tenses negativity. How to form a negative with nouns in past. We will see that it is made very, very easy. So actually we will just take our değil and add there an d, our past tenses suffix. Then, of course, we will add personal suffix type 2 to this. Let's check how is it working. Ben evde değildim. Ben evde değildim. I wasn't at home. Sen kötü değildin. Sen kötü değildin. You were not bad. Ahmet hastanede değildi. Ahmet hastanede değildi. Ahmet was not in the hospital. Biz öğrenci değildik. Biz öğrenci değildik. We were not students. Siz yalancı değildiniz. Siz yalancı değildiniz. You were not liars. Memurlar kaba değillerdi. Memurlar kaba değillerdi. Also, we will just use memurlar kaba değildi as well because we had lar in the beginning of our sentence. So it meant the workers were not rude. Let's see how to use it. Also, we will discuss one little thing in this dialogue. We have Koray, who is a boy, and Jale, who is a girl. Sen dün neredeydin? Ben kapını çaldım, duymadın. Galiba evde yoktun. Dün evde değildim, kütüphanedeydim. Akşam sınavım vardı, arkadaşlarımla sınava hazırlandık. Hangi dersten sınav oldun? Sınavın nasıldı? Bu matematik sınavıydı. Kolay değildi ama bilmediğim bir soru yoktu. Çok sevindim. Aferin sana. Sağ ol. Bugün bana çay içmeye gel. Bu akşam evdeyim. Before making this dialogue again, let's see just two sentences which can change your mind and make you think about something interesting. So we had galiba evde yoktun and dün evde değildim. We had this yoktun as you were not in and evde değildim as I was not at home. What is the difference? The difference is that galiba evde yoktun means that you were not at home. We are not showing where were you instead. But we can say sen evde değildin. If we are saying you were not at home, you were probably in a different place. And this thing is happening in this dialogue. We see that dün evde değildim, kütüphanedeydim is showing just the relocation of our jale. Knowing this, let's read this dialogue again. Sen dün neredeydin? Ben kapını çaldım, duymadın. Galiba evde yoktun. Dün evde değildim, kütüphanedeydim. Akşam sınavım vardı, arkadaşlarımla sınava hazırlandık. Hangi dersten sınav oldun? Sınavın nasıldı? Bu matematik sınavıydı. Kolay değildi ama bilmediğim bir soru yoktu. Çok sevindim. Aferin sana. Sağ ol. Bugün bana çay içmeye gel. Bu akşam evdeyim. So let's translate in order to understand if we got everything right. Let's see. Where were you yesterday? I knocked on your door. You did not hear. Probably you weren't at home. I wasn't at home yesterday. I was in the library. I had an exam in the evening. I prepared for the exam with my friends. Which course did you take the exam from? How was your exam? It was a math exam. It wasn't easy, but there was no questions I didn't know. I'm very happy. Good for you. Good job. Thank you. Come to me for tea today. I'm home tomorrow. I'm home tonight. So, yeah, that's a really interesting and nice dialogue that you can form by yourself with your friends since now. Let's see how to ask yes or no questions, because as we understood from our dialogue, the questions with a question word such as nerede don't need anything to add like me or mu. We can simply ask neredeydin and it will be where were you. But what is happening with yes or no or general questions in past tense? It's a bit complicated scheme which is not same with the questions in past tense which we already know. We are taking our word and leaving it like this in its original type. We are then adding mıydı, mihdi, muydu, or müydü. And after that, we are adding our personal affix type 2 and making a question. Let's see how is it working. Ben aptal mıydım? Ben aptal mıydım? Was I stupid? Sen kör müydün? Sen kör müydün? Were you blind? Ayla hasta mıydı? Ayla hasta mıydı? Was Ayla sick? Biz mutlu muyduk? Biz mutlu muyduk? Were we happy? Siz genç miydiniz? Siz genç miydiniz? Were you young? And onlar kardeş miydiler? Kardeş miydiler? Were they brothers or were they sisters? So yes, it is quite different from our normal past tenses questions, where we just took all form of our verb and after that just simply put m, mi, mu or mu. Let's review it from our complicated examples from the beginning of our lesson, the part 1. Let's remember our examples of kinda same words from the first part of our lesson. As an example, the word kız. As a noun, it means a girl. As a verb, kızmak, it means to get angry. It was completely same than we were saying. O kızdı, o kızdı. It was a girl, or he became angry. But when we are asking a question, it becomes really different. O kız mıydın? Was it a girl? O kızdı mı? O kızdı mı? Did he get angry? Here, of course, we still experience this difference of stresses in words, but still we can see the difference actually, not just hear it. O gül müydü? O gül müydü? Was it a rose? O güldü mü? O güldü mü? Did he smile? And the last example. Siz de var mıydınız? Siz de var mıydınız? Were you there as well? Siz de vardınız mı? Siz de vardınız mı? Have you reached there as well? So we have to remember differences only when we are not asking about those words. Let's read a little letter from a girl to a boy. Let's see. Merhaba Hakan. Uzun zamandır yazamadım. Çünkü işlerim çok yoğundu. Sen de yoğun muydun? Yoksa sen de neden yazmadın? Instagram'ına bakıyorum. Sen bu yıl Türkiye'de miydin? Neden bana hiç haber vermedin? Ben yazın Antalya'da yazlığımdaydım. Seni ağırlamak istedim. Saçlarını kestirdin mi? Yoksa eskiden de bu kadar kısa mıydı? Aslında bu tarz da sana çok yakıştı. Sence ben değiştim mi? Cevabını bekliyorum. Öptüm. Beyza Koç. Let's read again in Turkish speed and then translate. But still it's kind of a bit romantic story. Merhaba Hakan. Uzun zamandır yazmadım çünkü işlerim çok yoğundu. Sen de yoğun muydun? Yoksa sen de neden yazmadın? Instagram'ına bakıyorum. Sen bu yıl Türkiye'de miydin? Neden bana hiç haber vermedin? Ben yazın Antalya'da yazlığımdaydım. Seni ağırlamak istedim. Saçlarını kestirdin mi yoksa eskiden de bu kadar kısa mıydı? Aslında bu tarz da sana çok yakıştı. Sence ben değiştim mi? Cevabını bekliyorum. Öptüm. Beyza Koç. And of course, let's see the translation just in order to understand everything. Hello, Hakan. I haven't written for a long time because I was very busy. Very busy too. Otherwise, why didn't you write? I'm looking at your Instagram. We're in Turkey this year. Why didn't you ever let me know? I was at my summer house in Antalya in summer. I wanted to host you. Did you cut your hair or was it this short before? Actually, this style suits you very well. Do you think I have changed? I'm waiting for your reply. Kisses. Beyza Koç. So, yes, you can write your friends letters exactly like this letter. Or, as you know, you can also write letters to our comment section in YouTube. So, now I want to introduce you a really interesting person. This is Nasreddin Hoca. O efsanevi Türk felsefeci, imam, bilge ve fıkra karakteri. So, as you probably understood from Turkish, it is a legendary Turkish philosopher, imam, wise man, and anecdote character. Actually, it's wide known everywhere in Islamic world, not only in Turkey, but the fact is that he was born in Turkey. And also several cities are fighting for being named his homeland. This man is really famous. It's a really deep part of Turkish culture. And a lot of fıkra, anecdote, is told even now. Let's read one of the anecdotes and see why is it funny and will it be funny for you. So the name of it is Nasreddin Hoca ve Ördek. What was ördek? It's a duck. Bir gün Nasreddin'in evine bir ziyaretçi geldi. Beni tanımadın mı? Senin Konyalı kuzeninim, dedi. Nasreddin Hoca sevindi ve yol uzun muydu? Acıktın mı? Diye sordu. Kuzeni, evinde büyük bir tencere var mıydı? Sana ördek getirdim. Ondan çok güzel çorba olur, dedi. Nasreddin hemen ördekten çorba pişirdi ve ziyaretçiye güzel bir akşam yemeği ikram etti. Again, let's read for better understanding and translate this part because it's not all anecdote, of course. Bir gün Nasreddin'in evine bir ziyaretçi geldi. Beni tanımadın mı? Senin Konyalı kuzeninim, dedi. Nasreddin Hoca sevindi ve yol uzun muydu? Acıktın mı? Diye sordu. Kuzeni, evinde büyük bir tencere var mıydı? Sana ördek getirdim. Ondan çok güzel çorba olur, dedi. Nasreddin hemen ördekten çorba pişirdi ve ziyaretçiye güzel bir akşam yemeği ikram etti. So now let's translate. One day a visitor came to Nasreddin's house. Don't you recognize me? I'm your cousin from Konya, he said. Nasreddin Hoca was happy and said, Was the road long? Are you hungry? His cousin said, Did you have a big pot in your house? I brought you a duck. I would make a very good soup from it, he said. So Nasreddin immediately cooked soup from duck and offered the visitor a nice dinner. Let's see what's happening. Ertesi gün başka bir ziyaretçi geldi. Sana dün bir adam ördeği getirmedi mi? Ben o adamın arkadaşıyım, dedi. Nasreddin onu içeri davet etti ve ona güzel bir yemek verdi. Ertesi gün başka bir ziyaretçi geldi. Beni tanımadınız mı? Size kuzeniniz bir ördeği getirdi. Onun bir arkadaşı vardı. Ben o arkadaşının arkadaşıyım, diye söyledi. Nasreddin sinirlenmeye başladı. Ördeği getiren adamla tanıdık mıydınız? Sordu. Ancak bu misafire de yemek verdi. Artık evi restoran gibiydi. So the second part becomes a bit funny, I think. Let's read it again to get what is interesting here. Ertesi gün başka bir ziyaretçi geldi. Sana dün bir adam ördeği getirmedi mi? Ben o adamın arkadaşıyım, dedi. Nasreddin onu içeri davet etti ve ona güzel bir yemek verdi. Ertesi gün başka bir ziyaretçi geldi. Beni tanımadınız mı? Size kuzeniniz bir ördeği getirdi. Onun bir arkadaşı vardı. Ben o arkadaşının arkadaşıyım, diye söyledi. Nasreddin sinirlenmeye başladı. Ördeği getiren adamla tanıdık mıydınız? Sordu. Ancak bu misafire de yemek verdi. Artık evi restoran gibiydi. Let's see the translation to laugh and then we will read the best and the last part of this anecdote. Another visitor arrived the next day. Didn't a man bring you a duck yesterday? I am that man's friend, he said. Nasreddin invited him in and gave him a nice meal. Another visitor arrived the next day. Don't you recognize me? Your cousin brought you a dog. He had a friend. I'm a friend of that friend, he said. Nasreddin started to get angry. Were you familiar with the man who brought the dog? He asked. But he also gave food to this guest. His house was like a restaurant now. So let's see how it finished. Sonraki gün başka bir erkek geldi. O, kuzeniniz ördeği getirdi. Bir arkadaşı vardı. O arkadaşının da arkadaşı vardı. Ben ördeği getiren adamın arkadaşının arkadaşının arkadaşıyım, diye söyledi. Nasreddin onu akşam yemeğine davet etti. Karısı masaya biraz çorba getirdi ve ziyaretçi onu tattı. Nasreddin Hoca ziyaretçiye çorba nasıl oldu diye sordu. Tıpkı sadece sıcak su gibi diye bir cevap aldı. Nasreddin bu ördek çorbasının çorbasıydı diye söyledi. Bundan sonra ördeği getiren adamın arkadaşları gelmedi. On here you are supposed to laugh, but let's read again to give you some time for laughing. Sonraki gün başka bir erkek geldi. O kuzeninizin ördeği getirdi. Bir arkadaşı vardı. O arkadaşının da arkadaşı vardı. Ben ördeği getiren adamın arkadaşının arkadaşının arkadaşıyım diye söyledi. Nasreddin onu akşam yemeğine davet etti. Karısı masaya biraz çorba getirdi ve ziyaretçi onu tattı. Nasreddin Hoca ziyaretçiye çorba nasıl oldu diye sordu. Tıpkı sadece sıcak su gibi diye bir cevap aldı. Nasreddin bu ördek çorbasının çorbasıydı diye söyledi. Bundan sonra ördeği getiren adamın arkadaşları gelmedi. So let's see why was it funny. Another man came to the next day. He said, "Your cousin brought the dog. He had a friend. That friend had a friend. I am the friend of the friend of the friend of the man who brought the dog," he said. Nasreddin invited him for dinner. His wife brought some soup to the table and the visitor tasted it. Nasreddin Hoca asked the visitor, "How was the soup?" "It's just like hot water," he replied. Nasreddin said, "This was the soup of the dog soup." After that, the friend of the man who brought the dog did not come again. So this was the sense of humor of Turks. I wish you to understand it better. Even if you didn't laugh now, you will laugh the next time then you hear it, because Turks will laugh it. It was all for today. The next time we will see another nice themes such as going outside, and also we will review with word in Turkish and what is it used for. So I, Anastasia Krajnichenko, was your Turkish teacher as always. Keep watching I'm Learning Turkish and NTR TV. See you!